Hi, I'm Tasha Harris, and I'm the project lead on Costume Quest. Costume Quest is a Halloween-themed RPG in which you play as one of a pair of twins, a brother and sister, and you go trick-or-treating and collect costumes. And as you're trick-or-treating, your either brother or sister, whichever one you don't pick, gets kidnapped. So the whole objective of the game is to rescue your brother or sister. The original game actually came about from when I was a kid. Like, I always loved Halloween and I always loved video games, and I always loved drawing. So I remember just drawing these little trick-or-treating kids like when I was a kid, and like it just kind of has been kicking around in my head ever since.
This is our first time doing a game with THQ. We're doing 2 games with them, and they've been great so far. They responded to, I think, the look of the game and the idea. It's kind of original concept, and right away they like the concept of both games and have kind of supported the idea behind the games really well. Well, we had this AAA engine from Brutal Legend that we put a lot of money into. It had a lot of features. It was a very broad game in terms of what it had driving and flying and all these different things. So it was a great engine that allowed us to make games that are smaller but still have a AAA look to them, you know, so they're not like, we didn't want to do casual games that looked cheap or looked like they were just ported from a web game or something like that. We wanted to do games that use the capabilities of this massive engine, but scaled down to be a dense, intense experience.
Someone new has come to town. Now the monsters are all real, and we have to take them down.
At Double Fine right now, we're doing a new sort of plan of doing 4 smaller games instead of 1 big game. So instead of doing 1 game every 4 years, like we've done so far, we're doing 4 games a year currently at the current rate. And that's been a lot of fun. We did it just as a test. We took a 2-week period and we took the whole company, we split it into 4 parts, and then each team of roughly like 10 to 15 people, we had 2 weeks to make a game, just make a game in 2 weeks. And that's where Costume Quest came from. It was a little demo of the characters walking around the world, and we saw the fun of that. And so as a company, we just had a lot of fun making those smaller games in 4 groups. And so now we're doing that for real.
Well, growing up, I always loved RPGs, so that's kind of probably my main inspiration is games like Earthbound or Dragon Quest or the early Final Fantasies. Yeah, I guess my main objective was I wanted to make something that felt kind of like those old games in a nostalgic kind of way, but updated. So like the graphics are nicer, like, you know, the gameplay mechanics are a bit more polished. So it's kind of like taking the old style of game, but applying what we know as game developers now to the old style of game. There's not a lot of RPGs out there that are funny. There's not a lot of games out there that are funny, but you know, and I think just the Halloween theme is kind of pervasive throughout the whole game, and I think that really gives it a sense of charm and style that's unique.
Somewhat similar to the Psychonauts fan of like both younger players and older players. Like younger players get very excited about dressing up in costumes and the fantasy element of it, and older players sometimes are more nostalgic for that time in their life when they were, you know, running around in costume and maybe trick-or-treating on Halloween. Costume Quest is just a lot of fun for me to play, even myself, because I didn't work directly on it except for writing a bunch of dialogue for it. And so I've been playing it and experiencing the combat and the quests in it, and it's really it's fun in the way that a lot of the old school RPGs like Earthbound and games like that are fun, in that it's kind of charming and not necessarily a big fantasy epic. Saving the entire world from some crazy, you know, and there's definitely you're saving a lot of candy and you're saving your brother and sister, but it's the candy. I guess I would essentially say it's about the candy. I'm Tim Schafer, the founder and president of Double Fine Productions in San Francisco, and makers of Costume Quest. Costume Quest is coming out this fall for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade.